now and then it's important to call a family meeting. And the collective mindset of a group of people can influence the collective vibration of the entire world. It's been shown over and over that the collective mindset of humanity affects the global vibration and thus the global consciousness. So the more people are out there right now raising their vibration for the collective consciousness, you are doing the whole world a service right now. Because I'm going to show you what happens when you slip into lower vibrations of consciousness and what the results are. So right here, I've written down a bunch of words. And you can see that right here, we've got the healing mindset with an arrow pointing up. This is what comes into play when you adopt a healing mindset. When you are, like I was for a long time, stuck in a victim mindset with the arrow pointing down, this is what comes into your life. This is what comes into play. Because we know that everything in the world is vibration and everything is magnetic. You can repel or you can attract. Now, I was living in a victim mindset for a long time and I didn't even realize it. It was like I would slip in and out of this. And whenever I found myself slipping into that, the things that I really didn't like were coming towards me faster than I could say, holy shit. So fear, anxiety, ingratitude, anger, hate, force, judgment, condemnation. When I say force, I mean it's like you have to force everything that you want to happen. You have to force everyone around you to do what you want to do. Everything feels so forceful. Nothing happens naturally. There's no flow. Everything turns to chaos. You know, you could be around people and it just feels like everything's blowing up. Everybody's yelling. There's always something going on. When you're in this victim mindset, it's like anytime something bad happens, you immediately, your thought process goes to, all right, who did it? Who took this? Who stole that? Like, whose fault was it? Who left this out? You know, who put that there? All that kind of stuff. Blame. You're always blaming someone else, the nearest person to you. Nothing's ever your fault because you got to quickly blame someone else, because in a victim mindset, it's really hard to take responsibility for anything in your life. In a victim mindset, it's always an outside cause. It's always an outside force. It's always a diagnosis, a prognosis. It's someone did this to me. Someone did that to me. This happened and it's not my fault because of this, that, and the other. There's zero responsibility taken. And you're probably thinking, gee, Linz, that sounds kind of harsh. And it's like, I was there. I know. It is harsh, but it's harsh. So blame. Everything turns to chaos all the time. It feels terrible. You end up living with resentment toward people, things, events. This can cause sleep problems and nightmares because you go to bed ruminating about all the terrible things that have happened to you over your life. Whether it was 5 minutes ago or 5 years ago, these kinds of things can come up right at sleep time and just be an absolute nightmare for you. It's terrible. Awful place to be. It can lead to panic attacks. You've got anxiety because you're always thinking about danger somewhere. Like, what's behind every corner? Is this person out to get you? You know, it could be everything from people at the grocery store, bill collectors, your neighbor, a person walking down the street. You go into a state where you're always feeling like somebody is out to get you. The fear takes over. Fear of sickness, fear of injury, fear of loneliness, fear of lack. So you've got all these things. You end up angry. You end up angry at the people from your past. You end up angry at the people that don't want to be around you because you're always blaming everybody and creating chaos. You know, you live in a state of judgment. Most of the time you're judging yourself without even realizing it. You're victimizing yourself. That's another thing. Self-punishment. Awful place to be. And that self-punishment, that judgment, it reflects onto everything. Is the way you treat yourself is the way you treat others. So then you end up with guilt and shame. You end up living from a place of ego. And that's why you end up blaming, because you're always trying to protect your ego. You never want to take responsibility for anything because it's all about the ego. And you hate the feeling of shame, but you're always feeling that shame. But once you feel the shame and the guilt, you go back to the blame. In this kind of a place, you end up lonely. Eventually, it's hard to be around people. It's hard to be around people. There's a lot of absence from your mind. If you're always thinking about all these other things, you're not present with other people. And people can tell when you're not present with them. Absence of mind. I don't mean absence as in you like disappear, but absence mentally. You're not present with people. You're always thinking about yourself. And it might seem harsh again, but victim mindset can end up very conceited. Reflecting on the way I was in victim mindset, I feel like I was very conceited. I feel like I was very self-absorbed. Not meaning to. I didn't even realize it at the time. I didn't even realize how selfish I was being all this time when I felt like I was just trying to protect myself, just, scrounging for all my basic needs, You feel kind of empty. You're always looking for anything to fill that void, something, but you still come from a place of ungratitude. You might think you're grateful, but you're not embodying that true feeling of gratitude. If you were, that would raise your vibration. Once you raise your vibration from ungratitude to gratitude, and you actually feel into that, then you start to feel joy. Then you start to have more faith. Coming from a place of faith instead of fear changes everything. But when you come from a place of fear, there is no faith. Fear is the opposite of faith. I know a lot of people that says, no, I have faith. I've got all the faith in the world. I am super full of faith. And yet they wake up every morning in fear of lack, in fear of suffering. They hold hate in their heart for the people that have wronged them in the past. They feel like they're forcing their way through the day, just to get things done. They're forcing their way through just like house chores, through work. Everything feels forceful to get what you want from your kids, to your spouse, whatever it is. Everything feels so forceful. It's draining, absolutely draining. Sometimes you can end up hoarding things because you're worried about getting rid of things and not having it again. Passing things on and then needing that and having it not be able to come back to you. You can end up hoarding because you feel that piece of lack. That lack again comes up, that you're never going to have your needs met because you're in fear instead of faith. It can be tiring. You get very tired. When it's that tired and it weighs on your spirit, it lowers your immune function, your immune response. And then what happens? You end up sick, sad, and sore. The trifecta of the S's, the sick, sad, and sore. And there's nothing worse. To feel empty, lonely. You end up just consuming everything you can to try to fill that void, that empty feeling. So it's overconsumption. It can be overconsumption of social media, food, alcohol, drugs. Most people, it's just scrolling on social media, a lot of disassociation, to fill that empty feeling, to feel that connection. Because that's what happens when you're in this state of a victim mindset. You isolate yourself and you feel like you're trying to connect with people, but in reality, you've got a wall up around your heart. I was there. There were so many times I regret not allowing people into my world. I had a wonderful neighbor for a very short time while they were fixing up their house and getting it ready to sell. And he reached out a couple times, and I was just so standoffish. I don't know why. I'd say nice things and have small conversations, but there was one time I was outside my office one early morning, and I was very pregnant, and I had a little bit of a queasy moment. I was leaned over the front railing, and embarrassingly enough, I don't like sharing this, but I was having a little bit of a heave there, and he heard, and this was like 7 in the morning. It's kind of like winter time, it's dark out, and he comes out with a nice glass of water and offers it to me, and I was just like, no, I'm fine, it's okay, I'm fine. And he's like, no, are you all right? I'll come see if you're okay, I'll be there for you. And I was just like, I kept pushing it away, like I wouldn't let anyone take care of me for some reason, or show that they care, or be there for me. And I don't know why it was like that, but it was like reinforcing my inability to allow people into my world, into my bubble. And it made no sense to me. And I had to reflect on that and be like, why? What am I trying to protect? What am I afraid of? Because that's usually what it is that we're afraid of something. What are people going to figure out about us? I don't know. So you end up really lonely because you can push people away. But when you come from a healing mindset, you step into the world of faith. That belief that you can do something, that belief that you can get better, that belief that you can grow, that you can heal. And that feeling can spark an overwhelming feeling of gratitude to a higher power, to your ability. That gratitude, and gratitude is such a strong feeling. It's such a strong vibration. It ignites joy inside of us. And when we come from a place of joy and gratitude, it lifts our spirit. It connects us. And you know what happens when you feel connected? Ooh, connected. You start to feel that inspiration. Inspiration comes from source energy. Source. And source is where you put your faith. And then you start to feel present. That connection. You start to relax. Let your guard down. Be present with people that reach out to you to try to help you when you're heaving over a railing one morning. You can be present with them instead of being all up in your head of like all these things going through of, oh, I gotta keep it going. It doesn't make sense. No, you can be present with people. It's okay. It feels good to be present. Most people don't know what that is. One moment by yourself. So many of you out there right now, maybe it's you right now sitting on your couch. Are you afraid of being alone and quiet for just 5 minutes? 10 minutes? Dare I say 20 minutes of just sitting by yourself quietly? Freaks a lot of people out because of the mental chatter that goes on. And I can relate to that. I used to have a lot of mental chatter to the point where I would have to have music on and the TV on, all these things while trying to like read or do some artwork or anything like that, because if it was too quiet, it was just like, oh, all the things start going, the memories start happening, the conversations, the unfinished projects, the everything just starts going all at once. There was no presence. There was no focus. There was no peace. It was noisy and it was loud and it was a lot to deal with, and it took so much mental energy to keep those other things at bay so that I could do one thing. So it makes it really hard for creation. But when you're living from faith, with that belief, and you start to find that peace because of the presence. Because when you can heal, all of this becomes possible. Creation comes from the inspiration, and that comes from the source, your faith. That helps you feel full. I don't know about you, but when I've created something in a day, I feel great at the end of the day when I'm going to sleep. If I've made something excellent in the kitchen, or if I've been able to do some artwork with my kid, if I've Even just building an awesome Lego castle with my daughter, that feels good. I don't know why, just creation, just building something, making something, writing something, drawing something, baking something, pick something. Even if you've done some yard work, you've created a beautiful space. That feels good. We're meant to be creators. We are creators. Everything starts in your imagination. So when your mind is cluttered and you're not present, creation becomes really hard. You feel like you're just scrambling to get any idea out quick before your mind combusts. So you've got to heal first. The healing has got to take place. And to have a healing mindset, you got to step away from the victim mindset. Doing everything from a place of love is a really good place to start. Anytime you're doing something, ask yourself, am I doing this from a place of love? Because that feels good. Or am I doing this from a place of hate or fear, ungratitude, lack? Is that where you're coming from with your actions? Because I acted out of fear one time and it cost me a lot. I can't even begin to tell you the extreme extent of what it cost me. But I'm still here. I'm still all right. In fact, I'm better than ever because of it. Strangely enough, in a roundabout crazy way, it sent me catapulting into a new mindset. And maybe that's what it took. It was a really terrible event, but I brought it on myself by acting out of from a place of fear. I let something get in my head and I came from a place of fear. So we want to get away from the fear. No, we want to step into faith. Because when you've got faith, you've got abundance. Trust me on that one. Faith, gratitude, abundance. Abundance and joy. Oh yeah, AKA you can make your own heaven. All your needs are met. All requests are answered. But you gotta have faith. And I know some people are thinking, well, faith is religion. Well, I get that. Organized religion has kind of took a big steaming, on faith because it's been so politicized. And that's not the faith I'm talking about. Because I was raised Roman Catholic, and as a child, I questioned so much of the stuff because it never made sense to the whole Roman Catholic. It's like political faith is how it felt to me. I loved the cool Bible stories. I thought they were so interesting, and it was just like, wow, it resonated. I was like, this is wild, this is crazy. These stories are weird and cool, and I like it. But the stuff that, was telling people that they have to be, humble about everything, and it's like, I don't want anything. It's like, you can be humble and still want stuff. Isn't it okay to want stuff, What's the point? It's good to have stuff, because then you've got more stuff to share with other people. It's good to want money, because then you can share more money with other people. But we were taught to just, don't want stuff. Don't want stuff. And it's like, I think all they needed to teach was like just the gratitude. Gratitude is good. Want whatever you want, as long as it's coming from a place of love and not fear and not lack. Come from a place of love. It's okay to want whatever you want, as long as it's from a place of love. If you're wanting it for nefarious reasons, well, take a hike. So yeah, abundance and joy. Then you can feel a little content. You can feel that content feeling when you're just sitting quietly. When we come from a place of gratitude, that's when you can feel content, because you're grateful for everything you have. That old quote, you are never truly happy until you can, no, that's not how it goes. You will never truly be happy until you learn to be happy, but no, that's not how it goes. You will never truly be happy until you can learn to be happy with nothing at all. And I'm not saying you should have nothing. I think that was the Dalai Lama quote. what they're saying is that happiness comes from within, and that is it. So if you could strip away all of your possessions, everything that you have, and be sitting by yourself in a forest and cultivate that feeling of joy and gratitude, no matter what, no matter where you are, that is true happiness. But if you're looking to your stuff, your possessions, and I get it, you know, some things are really special to us. You know, playing music, instruments, they can be really special. But if without that, you feel completely empty and joyless, start to look within yourself and uncover where that lack of joy is coming from. You're like, okay, can I learn to love myself truly from within, beyond all possessions, beyond the stuff, beyond the activities, beyond anything else? Can I truly learn to love myself fully, completely? That's where pure joy comes from. And the great thing about learning to love yourself is that's how you learn to love God. Because you are, in essence, God. You are source energy. We all kind of talk about how we're all made up of the same things, but we are, in fact, one piece of fabric. There is only oneness. And that's something I've been learning in the recent times, because I went through my mind of all these things of like, we're all made of stardust, you know, we're all made from the same elements and everything like that. But we always perceive this emptiness between us, you know, the air, the ether. But when you look at all of us under microscopes and you see that nothing is really solid and everything is just vibration, and what everything is touching through the ether, like we perceive these spaces between objects, but it's just vibration to different vibration to another vibration to another vibration to a different vibration to a different vibration, all vibing on the same fabric. And that's why raising the collective vibration has an impact, a ripple effect on the collective mind of everybody in this realm. And it's amazing. So with that, you can affect your dreaming, prayer. You can use your dreams. A lot of people get stuck in the victim mindset, and then you end up with nightmares. I had night terrors as a kid, and they were awful. So when you step into this place, you can start to use your prayers before bed. You can cultivate your gratitude before sleep. And you can decide what you want to dream about. That gives you power. Because when you close your eyes at night, the things you put out in your mind is what will come back to you in life. And I know dreams can be really super weird when you just let them fly, when they're just like, whoa. But you can start to use your dream power to bring into your life that of which you want. This is uplifting. This is energizing. When you're constantly connecting with what you want rather than what you don't want, that is empowering. When you're aligned with your true purpose, when you're aligned with your talents, when you are aligned with creation, when you are aligned with inspiration, that is empowering. And that's where real energy comes from. A lot of people, when they're feeling drained, it's like they haven't been aligned with anything real, with anything inspiring in a long time. Or maybe they're trying to force themselves to align with something that really isn't in alignment with them. If you feel like you're trying to force your way through with your work, with your life, with a partner, you might not be in alignment. That might not be your right path. You know you're on your right path when you can feel it in your heart. You really do feel it. When it's like, I kind of explained to you, it's like a little meter, and it's like, you can go to things and it's like, no, that feels in alignment. That doesn't, beep, 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 beep. That feels like it lights me up. And when it feels like it really lights you up, that's what you should go for. The problem is a lot of people, they feel what they want to go for, but then they let all their limiting beliefs take over, or they get lazy and be like, oh, that's too much work. I don't want to do that. And it's like, you got to trust and have faith that the right people, places, and things will start to fall into place for you when you start taking small, aligned actions. Whether you're trying to heal something, the right people, the right scenarios, the right things will start to come to you to help you heal the thing that you were trying to heal. If it's business related, money related, home related, relationships, when you are in alignment and you're coming from a place of love and you have faith, the right people, places, and things start to come to you. You start to attract that. This is the natural law of vibration. You become magnetic for that of which you want when it's coming from the right place. When you're in alignment, these things will come. Accepting yourself and accepting others, radical humility. When there is only oneness, treating others with respect, kindness, and love, even if you feel like you don't like them, is essential. And this can be really hard, that old saying, love thy enemy. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Don't fall into condemnation. Because here's the thing. You become what you condemn. You attract into your life the scenarios, the situations that put you in a place similar to that of which you condemn, and you end up doing the thing that you end up a hypocrite, essentially, because you condemn the things and then you become that. So watch yourself. Watch out. Do not be condemning anything. I've done it, and it happened fast. Really fast. Oh, man. Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful is all I'm going to say. And that's the other thing with fear and the victim mindset. You can, let's see what I was going to say. When you're living in a state of victim mindset, you can also end up constantly injuring yourself. This happens quite a bit when people are not feeling supported, when you are feeling alone and like you're just not getting the emotional support or physical support or any kind of support. You can have accidents. And some people have a lot of accidents, and you end up injuring yourself over and over and over. Or the other thing is, and I've seen this before, where there's an event that happens in your life, and because of this, you injure a certain part of your body that pertains to that lack of support. Oftentimes, it's back injuries, more often than not, but it can be any part of your body, really. But you'll end up re-injuring that part of your body over and over and over. And people talk like, oh man, that's just that old injury, it's just flared up again. And then another thing happens, well, if I'm going to injure any part of my body, it's obviously going to be my back. It's always my back. But it's like there's an emotion attached to that part of your body. There's an emotion, there's an event, there's something. And it's keeping you stuck in that victim mentality, and you're going to keep re-injuring that part of your body until you look at what really happened. What happened before the first injury? What was going on in your life? Only by releasing these things can you help to stop these things from reoccurring and letting go of your victim mindset. When things are always breaking in your house, that's a sign that you are living in chaos. And your vibe is not good, because when you are in good spirits, when you are in good vibration, things do not go breaking all over the place. For a while, it felt like everything was breaking in my house. My dishwasher went, my washing machine went, and then the dishwasher went again. Or no, the washing machine went twice, and then the dishwasher went once. And I'm like, what is happening? We got floods in our kitchen. It was chaos. We were not in good spirits. we were not on a good vibration. Mentally, we were not aligned. Emotionally, we were not aligned. Spiritually, we were out of sorts. And it was hell. So look around, if you're having a lot of things break down on you, it's time to look inward and maybe start doing some meditations every morning to clear away, and every night too. And if you want some help with this, join my community, Misty Mountains Holistic, on School, and I'll help you with this every single day. But yes, setting your intention when you wake up, setting your intention when you go to sleep at night, it can help you go from hell all the way up to heaven. And you can start to create. You can start to live from joy. You can start to be living in gratitude. And that is a big one, gratitude. Because nobody wants to feel empty. Nobody wants to feel angry all the time. These can be addictive feelings. These can be very addictive for some people, to have these hate and anger feelings, and it can stem all the way from childhood. You know, if that's what you resonated the most with the people around you, is being punished, feeling resentful, blame, chaos, hatred, all these things, that can be what is wired into your mind of what is normal. And if you start to feel really good, your body's gonna be like, no, that's not safe, that's different. And it'll pull you right back. You gotta resist that every time you feel that pull back to the old familiar chaos, the old familiar anger, the old familiar hate, the old familiar blaming everybody else, the old familiar shutting everybody out, you know, injuring yourself, always being sick, sad, and sore, tired. It's draining. So it's time to let go of the victim mentality. It's not an overnight thing. It's not. It takes time, and it takes help a lot of the time. Feel free to reach out to me. As a person who has been in that victim mentality, I understand. It can be tricky to get out, but you can get out. Adopting a healing mindset opens amazing doors. And it is what I believe the stepping stone to the key to life, that everything that we are supposed to be doing on this plane of existence, we have to do, starting with this mindset. You cannot achieve your life goals. Well, maybe you don't have any goals right now, but the purpose, the meaning of life, to create, to learn how to create, and I'm not talking like what I was before, learning how to create, you know, like Play-Doh and Lego and all that stuff. I mean truly create from here and from here. When these are aligned, you can make magic happen. So remember to like and subscribe. Friends, let's all raise our collective consciousness and see what the big difference we can make on the entire world. Because think about it. If we all at the same time had the most amazing thought, if everyone on planet Earth, just like, if we all got together and watched like a really funny video, and everybody had a big belly laugh all at the exact same time, and then said to ourselves, if we just said, this is the most wonderful, beautiful day, thank you. Can you imagine the vibe that would just ripple through the world? Oh, that would feel good. Maybe we should try to arrange this. I know it seems like kind of impossible. Let's see how many people we can get on board. Maybe we can set something up. I'm excited. Like and subscribe.